Welcome to Broad Strokes, Fortune's weekly show about the news that matters to women. I'm Kristen Bellstrom.
And I'm Valentina Zaria, and here are our top stories.
So earlier this week, Kobe Bryant came out and said he's getting into the venture capital game. He's launching a $100 million fund with his partner, Jeff Seibel. And basically, this was greeted with open arms by everybody who was paying attention to this story. But for some women, Kobe Bryant is a really complicated figure. You may remember that he was accused of rape back in 2003. I want to be clear. This case did not make it to criminal trial. They settled out of court. But for a lot of women, the idea that this is an industry that is welcoming him is a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's disturbing, but it's actually, sadly, not that surprising. It's kind of coming at a hard time for VC. You know, last year when Ellen Powell sued Kleiner Perkins for gender discrimination, it opened up this giant can of worms where it came out that women weren't being included in meetings, women weren't making it to partner. And Fortune actually came out with an analysis that found that only 6% of decision makers in VC are women. And so inviting someone like Kobe Bryant into this community, which is fairly small, is not sending a message that you're trying to be more inclusive to women.
Yeah, I just think this is another example of VC having kind of a tin ear about these things. If the industry is really serious about attracting women, and they say that they are, I just feel like this is a type of decision that sends a message to women that says, you know, we don't really care about you. We're more interested in sort of bringing in star power.
Another industry where sexism and gender discrimination is a huge issue is engineering. Only about 13% of US engineers are women. And interestingly enough, that's actually a far lower number than the number of women who study engineering. About a fifth of engineering graduates are women. So what's causing this attrition? What's causing these women to not end up pursuing engineering careers? What researchers found this week was that it's actually just plain old sexism. These women, they're being relegated to doing managerial tasks, office housework, right, so to speak, and they're not actually getting to do the things they like to do. So they end up just not liking the work and leaving.
I think there's a larger takeaway here that's not just about women in engineering. I mean, you mentioned office housework. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea, basically, that women get stuck taking notes in meetings, setting up for parties, organizing spreadsheets, like doing all the little things that basically make an office run, but that you don't get credit for and you don't get promoted for. And that's a lot of what they found, that this is what's happening in engineering and this is what's happening more broadly. So we haven't talked about the presidential campaign in a couple of weeks, and the Trump campaign caught my attention this week for really doubling down on these attacks on Hillary Clinton's health. So Donald Trump has basically come out to say Hillary Clinton doesn't have the stamina and the strength to defeat ISIS. People have talked about Trump as the dog whistle candidate, and that's a phrase that basically it says, like, you don't just come out and say something sexist or racist, you use words that sort of imply it and let people draw their own conclusions.
She doesn't have strength, she doesn't have stamina, she's not a dude.
Let's have a real discussion about this. Like, why don't both of them put their health records out there? We can take sexism off the table. That's all the time we have this week. Come back next Friday for another episode of Broad Strokes on Fortune.com.